Okay. Did not care for Impact last week at all. It was just not a good show in my opinion. And after reading the spoilers, I thought I was going to feel the same way this week. But I actually ended up liking this one, which I did not expect, because it featured a lot of things that I really can't stand about this product. Too many gimmicks, way too much focus on Velvet Sky, to the point where it's almost becoming comical now. And then there's the Sting Joker garbage. And let's just get that out of the way first. There isn't much else I want to say about this gimmick because all it does is make me angry at this point. But look at what they're doing. Sting was acting like the Joker, doing his face paint like the Joker, now he's dressing like the Joker. Is Sting gonna come out with green hair next week? This is shameless. Absolutely shameless. I'm really starting to wonder if Warner Brothers would have grounds to sue TNA for copyright infringement. Just taking a character they don't have the rights to use and blatantly ripping it off. Because that's what they're doing. It's a fucking joke. They should be embarrassed to be featuring this stuff on their show. And since I'm already in this really annoyed headspace, let's just get all the bad stuff out of the way. The Velvet Sky Pity Party segment. This is just getting worse and worse. I did kind of like the stuff ODB had to say, how her and the women like her were shoved aside in favor of the beautiful people. I liked her argument because that is pretty much exactly what happened last year, and it's easy to see why she would be pissed off. But then Velvet starts with her whole bullshit sob story, how she was picked on as a kid, and she hates bullies, and she's so thankful to have her job in TNA, and she refuses to be picked on anymore, and blah blah blah.
Oh, what a bunch of bull.
First of all, this was stupid because she was pretty much just repeating stuff she's already said, making the whole segment pointless. Second of all, it did absolutely nothing to fix the real problem with this feud. In fact, you know what this reminded me of? Smallville. You ever see Smallville? On that show, they would constantly write scenes that would serve no other purpose than to try to make you feel sorry for the Lana Lang character, to show you how unbelievably awesome the Lana Lang character is. And it was completely transparent, no one ever bought into it, because the fact was Lana Lang was an unlikable, horribly written character and the biggest Mary Sue on television at the time. That's exactly what they're going for here, and it doesn't work for the exact same reasons why that didn't work. This entire angle is obviously intended to do nothing more than create sympathy for Velvet Sky and make you think she's the greatest thing ever. And it's bullshit. You haven't earned this. It's not organic, it's not good writing, it's just fucking lazy.
This whole show is ridiculous!
I can't feel sympathy for Velvet Sky because Velvet Sky is a loathsome fucking character. And I don't mean that as a criticism of her, but that's how she's been written for the last 4 years. And now they're basically trying to rewrite this character's entire history because the only way this storyline works on any level whatsoever is if you completely disregard everything Velvet did when she was a heel.
This whole show violates everything about my journalistic integrity.
Sorry, TNA writers, but I'm not coming to Velvet's pity party because I remember when she was a heel and this doesn't make any fucking sense at all. The main event was Kurt Angle and Ken Anderson in a cage match. Ugh. You know what killed this match for me more than anything? It wasn't the fact that it was too short, though it was. It wasn't the fact that it was overbooked, though it was. It was the fact that they did the entrances, then they went to commercials, then they came back to a backstage pre-tape with Sting and Bischoff, and then they finally cut back to the match, already in progress. Why the hell would you have a cage match on free TV with two of your top guys if you're going to cut to backstage crap during the match? You want this match to get ratings, don't you? Well, in order to get ratings, people have to fucking see it. If it's already too damn short by cage match standards, it would be really nice if we could actually see the whole match. While it lasted, it was good, but with the way they presented it here, it was almost like they wanted it to fail. And guess what? They also had an unadvertised Ultimate X match. Oh shit! I'll give them this. The match told a story, and it was decent for the time they had, even though they only had like 5 minutes and change, which is fucking ridiculous. But they barely used the Ultimate X structure at all. It didn't even really come into play until the finish. And if you're not going to use the structure as much as you can, why the hell are you even doing an Ultimate X? You just had an Ultimate X at the pay-per-view, and now you're giving one away on TV? And this is exactly why no one pays to see these things on pay-per-view anymore. Because they know they don't have to, because you're always giving them away for free. And you have got to stop putting non-high flyers in this match. Yes, I know it was all about Sting sticking it to Immortal. I don't care. That doesn't make it a good idea. Alright, let's move on to the positives now before I go for those suicide pills again. The show started with a Hogan-Kurt Angle confrontation. Both guys were really good on the mic, and this was a strong segment. My only issue is that I don't like where it's going. It's obvious they're building up to Hogan getting back in the ring to face Sting one more time, and all this is just to kind of goad Hogan into getting his balls back. Unfortunately, they think they have to turn him face to do this, and if Hogan turns face, it will mean that this entire Immortal Takeover angle has been a complete waste of fucking time. Not that it hasn't been a waste of time, Jesus Christ, but if this whole storyline from the very beginning has been about Hogan stealing the company from Dixie Carter, Sting going through hell trying to take the company back, only to have Hogan turn face before he pays any kind of comeuppance for stealing the company, it renders the entire thing completely fucking pointless because Hogan would never have been punished for any of the horrible things he did, so there's no payoff for any of it. It'll also mean that the whole Immortal Takeover was always really just about Hogan when it should have been about everyone else. Fuck that shit. But I'm getting negative again. There was a terrific X Division segment with Brian Kendrick, Alex Shelley, and Austin Aries setting up their match at the pay-per-view, and the reason I liked this so much was because this was exactly what the X Division has been missing for ages now. Their matches being hyped up with promos. Actual in-ring talking promos. We can rave about an awesome X Division match all we want, but ultimately it's going to be the promos that make the match mean something. Otherwise, it's just a car wreck match for the sake of having a car wreck match. This is the big reason why the X Division hasn't really meant anything for so long, because it hasn't had that. Hopefully this is a sign that they're getting back to that now, and it helps that you got three guys that are good on the mic to build a feud around. Aries and Shelley were both awesome on the mic here. Kendrick was good too. I just always have such a hard time trying to figure out what the hell he's saying. And there's nothing wrong with his delivery necessarily, it's just the weird-ass lines they give him. I don't know if he's writing his own promos or what, but if he could just say stuff that didn't need to be translated, there'd be no problem. But anyway, solid hype for the X Division title match at Hardcore Justice, and this was my favorite segment of the night. Also enjoyable was the Knockouts match. Why? Because for once, it didn't involve Madison Rayne, it didn't involve Velvet Sky. There was no overbooking or stupid stuff, you just took Winter and Tara, two of the women who actually know what they're doing, and let them fucking wrestle. Big surprise, it was halfway decent. Though I would strongly encourage Winter to get a new finisher, because she seems to have a really hard time hitting that thing. Now the best thing this show has going for it right now is this Bound for Glory series, because it's a simple storyline with a set goal and good motivation for a lot of wrestlers to win matches clean. It's also where we get a lot of the better matches on this show. Here we had two good matches. I do wish they'd been longer, but I really liked them both. Rob Van Dam and Gunner had a really nice back and forth match. That's probably the best Gunner has looked so far. He didn't even lose anything by doing the job because he had a competitive match and he looked strong in defeat. Also, there was Bully Ray versus Crimson, which had some nice psychology to it. Not a technical masterpiece or anything, but I don't think it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be just Bully Ray acting like a dirtbag heel to help get Crimson over, and it did that. It also helped get his finisher over as something that he can hit at any second and end a match just like that. So that was effective. So good stuff in both matches. I also really liked Matt Morgan's promo, because that promo probably did more to sell the importance of the Bound for Glory series and the world title than anything they've done so far. And it was so simple. He has an injury, he had to back out of the tournament, and it crushed him. He was heartbroken because the world title means everything to him. That's all it takes. And that's why I like Matt Morgan, because more than just about anyone else on the roster, you can see how much the world title means to him. He makes me believe that he wants to be the world champion more than anything in the world. Guys like Sting and Rob Van Dam, they don't do that. Matt Morgan does it, and it makes me want to root for him. And it sucks for him that this happened, because he was my prediction to win this thing. And speaking of promos making stuff look important, Bully Ray mentioned that he's facing AJ Styles in Houston in a few days. You know what he did right there? He promoted a house show. That one promo was probably more advertising than this company has given any of their house shows ever. And that's why it's great that a lot of these matches in the Bound for Glory series are happening at house shows, because it forces them to actually talk up the live events on the TV show, which they should be doing anyway. So that was good. And there was a lot of other good stuff on this show too. Even the gimmick matches. Yes, they were too short and totally unnecessary, and Abyss should not be in an Ultimate X match on general principles, but they were at least good while they lasted. So, I ended up enjoying Impact this week, minus the Velvet Sky pity party and the Sting Joker garbage. And before I finish this video, I have to make a correction. Last week I said that TNA did not announce the Fatal 4-Way ladder match a week in advance, but one of my subscribers has informed me that they did. Apparently it just went right under my radar. So I guess I have to apologize for missing that one. But don't you see how this further proves my point? Whether there was actually advertising for this ladder match or not is irrelevant. The point is, if there was advertising, I didn't notice it. Me. The guy who critiques every goddamn thing on this show. If I missed the announcement for this match, I'm willing to bet there's a hell of a lot of casual fans who missed it too. The whole point of advertising is to make your audience aware of something, to make it look important, to get the fans excited for it. If it fails to do that, then it's the same thing as not advertising it at all. I mean, that would be like if Fourth Dimension Fool Kill, I am bigger than God. Bigger than... What the hell? Well, that came right out of fucking nowhere. No, it didn't. There was an advertisement that I'd been making this announcement at the start of the video. There was? I didn't even notice it. Well, it was there. You need to pay closer attention. But if people have to pay that close attention just to notice it, doesn't that kind of defeat the whole purpose of advertising your announcement in the first place? No. Why not? Fuck you! That's why not!